Can Python read a CSV file and ignore the first few rows? Imagine you have a big CSV file filled with data, but the first few lines are just notes or headers you don't need. How can you tell Python to skip those lines and jump straight into the data you want? That's what we're going to explore today. Python makes it pretty simple to read CSV files and ignore the first few rows. There are two main ways to do this. The first way uses the built-in CSV module, which is part of Python's standard library. When you open a CSV file with this module, it reads the file line by line, giving you each row as a list. To skip the first few lines, you just call the next function on the reader object as many times as needed. For example, if you want to skip the first two lines, you call next twice before processing the rest of the data. This method gives you manual control over which lines to ignore, making it good for simple scripts or when you know exactly how many lines to skip. The second way uses the Pandas library, which is very popular for data analysis and automation tasks. Pandas has a function called readCSV that reads the entire CSV into a data frame, which is like a table. This function has a parameter called skipRows. You can set skipRows to an integer to skip that many lines at the top of the file. For example, setting skipRows to 3 will ignore the first 3 lines. You can also pass a list of specific row numbers if you want to skip certain lines, or even a function that returns true for rows to skip. Using Pandas is very handy because it handles all the parsing and makes it easy to work with the data afterward. Let's look at some quick examples. With Pandas, you might write, import pandas as pd, then df equals pdreadCSV with your file name and skipRows set to the number of lines you want to ignore. It's simple and fast. With the CSV module, you open the file, create a reader object, then call next, the number of times needed to skip the lines, and then loop through the remaining rows. In automation and scripting, being able to skip the first few lines of a CSV file is super useful. Many files have headers, comments, or extra notes at the top that aren't part of the data. Ignoring those lines makes your scripts more flexible and reliable. So whether you're cleaning data or preparing reports, knowing how to tell Python to skip those initial lines is a handy skill. It helps you focus only on the data that matters, saving you time and effort.